Right now, somewhere in your life, there's a number waiting for you. 90,000 hours. That's roughly how much of your existence you will spend at work. 90,000 hours of alarms, commutes, meetings, and waiting for Friday. Now here's the strange part. Your ancestors, the ones who lived for 300,000 years without a single job, would look at that and find it insane, but not for the reason you've been told.
Because you've probably heard this one, that hunter-gatherers had it easy, that they only worked about 15 hours a week and spent the rest of their lives lying around. It's a famous idea. In 1966, an anthropologist named Marshall Sahlins gave it a name, the original Affluent Society. He leaned on a study by Richard Lee, who lived with the Kung in the Kalahari Desert and timed them. His finding? They needed only 12 to 19 hours a week to get all the food they required. 12 hours a week. It became one of the most quoted facts in anthropology. A whole genre of "we ruined everything" thinking is built on it.
There's just one problem. It isn't true. Look closely at what Lee actually measured. He was timing one thing, collecting food. That's it. Not processing it, not cracking nuts or butchering or hauling water, not making the tools, not fixing the huts, not the childcare. Add all of that back in, the stuff we'd absolutely call work, and Lee's own number climbs to about 40 to 44 hours a week. And when researchers widened the lens across dozens of foraging societies, the average landed at roughly 40 to 45 hours. Read that again. Your ancestors worked about as much as you do.
Which kills the fantasy and leaves a much better question. If the hours were the same, why does yours feel so much worse? To answer that, you have to actually walk through one of their days.
So let's do it. Our best living window is the Hadza in Tanzania. Not a copy of the Stone Age, but the closest thing we can still watch. There's no alarm. You wake up when it gets light, in a camp of maybe 30 people, all of whom you have known your entire life. There's no schedule. Nobody assigns you anything. You look at the day and decide.
The men head out for meat, honey, baobab fruit. The women go for tubers, berries, greens. And here's the first thing that would shock you. You don't go alone, and you don't go quietly. You walk out in a group, talking the entire time. The commute is the socializing. The work is the socializing.
You forage for about 4 to 6 hours, and then you stop. Around midday, when the heat becomes unbearable, everything shuts down for roughly 2 hours. Not a lunch break, a collapse into the shade. Sleeping, lying around, doing nothing. An anthropologist named Kristen Hawkes actually wrote about it, half puzzled. Hadza men spend a striking amount of time sitting in camp, often just sleeping. I love that. Somewhere, a researcher flew across the world, sat down with a notebook, and recorded, "They're napping again." By 5 or 6, everyone's drifting back into camp. And now the second shift starts, the part Lee didn't count. Food gets processed, tools get repaired, kids get watched. This is the 40 hours hiding in plain sight. But look at how it happens. Nobody does it alone in a cubicle. It happens in a circle, with everyone talking, while the food you personally found gets shared out to the whole band. You worked, and you can see the result of your work tonight, being eaten by people you love. When was the last time your work did that? So how did we get from that to the alarm clock? The first turn was farming, about 12,000 years ago. And it was not the upgrade we like to imagine. Farming meant more hours, not fewer, a narrower diet, more disease, and for the first time, a surplus you could own, count, and take from someone else. Work stopped being something you did and started being something you owed. But the thing that actually built your day is shockingly recent. In 1817, a Welsh mill owner named Robert Owen looked at factory workers doing 14-hour shifts and proposed a formula. 8 hours labor, 8 hours recreation, 8 hours rest. That's it. That's where your day comes from. Not from biology, not from 300,000 years of being human. From a guy dividing a clock into 3 to make factories less cruel. And it didn't even catch on quickly. Henry Ford put in the 8-hour day in 1914 and the 5-day week in 1926. The United States didn't make 40 hours the law until 1938, 121 years after Owen said it out loud. Your entire working life, the shape of nearly every day you will live, is built on an idea younger than the light bulb.
So here's the real answer. The problem was never the number of hours. They worked 40. You work 40. The difference is that they never went to work. There was no commute, no boss, no clock, no manager measuring you, no performance review, no separation between working and living, because there wasn't a word for either. Their 40 hours were outside, moving, in daylight, surrounded by people they loved, doing 6 different things with a result they could hold at the end of the day. Your 40 hours are indoors, sitting still, under a schedule you didn't choose, doing one narrow slice of something enormous for a result you may never see. Same hours, completely different animal.
So no, they weren't lounging around in some lost paradise. That was never the point. They just never had to become someone else at 9 a.m. and change back at 5. Your body is still running on that older setup, the one built for a day that started when it got light, bent around the weather, stopped when it got too hot, and ended around a fire with everyone you knew. And then, about 100 years ago, we put that animal in a chair and told it to sit there for 90,000 hours. So the next time you're staring at the clock at 3 p.m., feeling like something is wrong with you, nothing is wrong with you. You're just not built for a day that has a start time.